A rival NBA GM has named the New York Knicks as the perfect team to land Anthony Davis this offseason, and we have to talk about this. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and I'm in a Yankees hat today because it's a beautiful spring day in Manhattan, so let's get right into this video, guys. A rival NBA executive has pegged the New York Knicks as a perfect trade destination for NBA superstar Anthony Davis. Now, as of right now, there's not a ton of contact about Anthony Davis being some guy who could potentially go on the trade market, but we do know that the Lakers are barely holding on to being a playoff team. They're currently sitting at the 8th spot and will get a chance to play the New Orleans Pelicans in the playoffs, Davis's former team, to get that 7th seed and get their rematch versus the Denver Nuggets, which was the Western Conference Finals last year. But if things go astray, if somehow LeBron James decides to leave the Los Angeles Lakers for his final 2 or so seasons in the NBA to truly pursue that 5th title because the Lakers are a dumpster fire, we will most likely see Anthony Davis get traded off the team with LeBron leaving, just so the Lakers can get some assets back and kind of start, I guess, a rebuild once again. And the New York Knicks, I agree, are a perfect team for Anthony Davis if this were to happen. Now, in the article, something that gets mentioned, obviously, is that the Lakers failed to outright make the playoffs, even though they should have been expected to, considering the fact that they made the Western Conference Finals last year and brought back the same team, even though that WCF Lakers team did come from the play-in also, and they were the 7th seed, beating the Timberwolves, then beating the Grizzlies, and then obviously beating the Golden State Warriors. And right here, it does mention that some people within the organization repeatedly have kind of said that they want to wipe the slate clean and start over. Also, that says reportedly. I guess I just can't read today. And an anonymous general manager mentioned the New York Knicks as an ideal trade partner for the Lakers in a potential AD deal. I completely agree, and I think this is something similar to what I've said about Mikal Bridges in the past, because the Knicks own their own draft picks, but they also own a ton of draft picks from other teams. And when considering that, you have to look at the fact that those picks are more valuable because you won't be trading draft picks to a team in exchange for an NBA star. You'll be trading someone else's draft picks. So you won't be like the Lakers thinking, all right, so we're giving the Knicks AD, who's arguably the most perfect fit for that team of any NBA all-star or better level player in the NBA. And now we have to take their own picks and hope that they're bad. Even in 2029, Brunson will only be in like his early-ish 30s. So who knows? He could still be good. The Knicks might just be able to retool the roster. We've seen Leon Rose work miracle after miracle. So are we really going to bet on the Knicks being bad? That doesn't feel as safe as it used to be. Maybe we take the rest of their other picks. And, I mean, obviously with AD's contract in mind, the Knicks would obviously have to give that Bojan Bogdanovic contract, but we could see another bigger name player on the Knicks getting traded. And that guy could very well be Julius Randle. Obviously, Randle no longer a part of CAA, which makes this possible. And I'm not saying I think they'd trade Randle for AD. I don't know why the Lakers would want Julius Randle in this scenario. He's only 2 years younger than AD and in the prime of his career right now. I'm just saying for the sake of contracts that maybe we could see that happen. But who knows? It's kind of a stretch anyway to believe AD is going to get traded. But really the point of why I'm sitting here talking about this right now is because I think AD could realistically be an amazing option for the Knicks. The Knicks, if anything, I mean, their guard situation is great. I like Brunson, DiVincenzo, and OG Anunoby as that, like, I know OG's not a guard. I understand he's a wing and a forward, but between DiVincenzo, who's a wing, and OG, who's more of a forward, but also kind of a wing forward, and then Brunson is the point guard, I really like that top three. I love Julius Randle, and I think Isaiah Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson are really, really, really good centers. But they're not Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is one of the best defenders in the NBA, arguably the best defender in the NBA. He's an elite rim protector. He just had one of the best seasons of his career. So yeah, I could understand maybe why he'd be a perfect fit for the Knicks. He's better than Hartenstein and Mitch by a lot. Why? Because he's the 3rd best center in the NBA. I mean, yeah, I'm taking Jokic over him, and I'm taking Joel Embiid over him. Anyone else? Absolutely not. Anthony Davis is also closer to that tier of Jokic and Embiid than he is to guys like Bam Adebayo, who's usually viewed as probably the fourth best center after Jokic, Embiid, and AD. I don't think that's a controversial top three centers in the NBA. I think it's remarkably non-controversial that it has to be in that order, or I don't know. You could put Embiid over Jokic, I guess. But look, I think that AD would fit the Knicks well. He doesn't always need the ball in his hands. He's an elite defender. He would fit the Knicks' defensive scheme perfectly because he can both defend the perimeter and the low block, and he is an elite low block defender. As I said, he's one of the best rim protectors in the NBA. He's just one of the best defenders in the NBA. He's been my pick for Defensive Player of the Year. I get Rudy Gobert is going to win it. I get if he didn't, it'd be Wemby. I understand Wemby's going to become the best defender in the NBA as long as he stays healthy, which we obviously are hoping that Wemby does. But AD is still an elite defender and can guard basically anyone in the NBA. Especially, I'm not saying like guards, but you know what I mean. Like guard any front court, power forward, center, even some small forwards in the NBA. He can guard the ball. He can guard the best big man on any team and absolutely put them in jail. I would love to see Anthony Davis on this team. Do I think it's likely? Probably not. It kind of hinges on LeBron going to free agency and deciding to go to another team. The thing is, I don't know where LeBron would even go. Like, realistically, where's LeBron going? Philly? Maybe, but he's banking on Embiid to stay healthy. He hasn't done well with banking on big men to stay healthy recently, and we have to get into that because I'm obviously talking about Davis. Though he did play 76 games this year, shout out to AD for beating the injury-prone allegations, especially when you come into the NBA young. You spend the last few years of your career injured, not like the final seasons of his career, like the most recent seasons of his career injured. There's definitely some concern there, but you know, I don't think LeBron would go to Philly, and I don't know if I'd care that AD's had some injury-prone seasons. He's always had some injury problems, but I think if he's healthy for the playoffs, and the Knicks made some move for him, moving most of their first-round picks for him, and then also Bojan and whatever other contracts like Mitchell Robinson's that you'd have to do to make this work and give literally all your picks because the Lakers value AD insanely high as they should. I think it would make sense for the Knicks to do that. I think if you want to go all in on this roster, there's not many people better than Anthony Davis. I don't think there is anyone better than Anthony Davis for the Knicks. The best position that you can realistically upgrade that makes sense is center, and that has nothing to do with Hartenstein or Mitch. I love both of those guys, and I actually think the Knicks can win the finals with those two as their two centers. I easily think they can do that, but AD's better is all I'm saying. And outside of that, I just don't think it's going to happen because you're banking on LeBron leaving unless you want to do this in 4 years when AD's 35, and I just don't think that makes much sense. But what the GM said, this anonymous GM, when you look at it, if you're serious about trading Davis at some point, then you need to accomplish a few things. You have to get him somewhere where he wants to be. He wants to be a Laker, so if you trade him, you have to do right by him, send him to a good team in a good market. You don't want to burn any bridges with Clutch Sports. You need a team willing to take on his money because it's a lot, and you need a team who can load you up with draft picks. There's really one team that fits all those, and it's the Knicks. It would not be hard to make that deal work, though. You can line up the salaries, you can package a ton of picks, you can throw in a young player, you can take on the salary the Lakers might not want. I mean, he's a one player, and you can get a huge haul here. I agree with that. And I mean, AD is an elite player. 25 points per game, 12.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists. This doesn't even talk about his defense here, but he's shooting over 50% from the field. Obviously, he's not a great three-point shooter, but he's not here to shoot threes, and he is a good mid-range shooter, so it's fine. Like, I don't really see that much concern. And if you look at these seasons, if you have supervision and can see my abomination of a screenshot, you can tell that Anthony Davis is having probably his second best season as a Laker, only second to his first season as a Laker, where he was in the MVP voting right up there with him and Bron, and they won the NBA Finals. So yeah, I think Anthony Davis would be a perfect fit for the Knicks, and he did, when he requested that trade, he very specifically either wanted to go to the Lakers or to the Knicks. Those were the only two teams that had any chance of trading for him, but the Knicks' best player at the time, it was Julius, who was having an atrocious season. The Lakers' best player at the time, it's the greatest player to ever play basketball. I said it. But yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I would love for it to happen. This banks on LeBron leaving LA, which he absolutely should if he knows what's good for him, if he wants that fifth ring. If he doesn't want it, then stay in LA, keep making movies like House Party, because that was funny as hell, dude. But guys, comment down below what you think. Can this feasibly happen? Do you see a world where this happens? Can the New York Knicks land Anthony Davis, what's your trade package? And also, would you want to do it at all? Let me know in the comments below. I'll be sure to get back to you guys there. Have an awesome day, and go Knicks, baby.